Smoke when we all celebrate success, so now we.
Hey guys, it has been a very long time since I've done any kind of update for you. I think the last update was in November last year. But as you can see, we haven't been idle. I've been chipping away slowly at a few things. First up, I rebuilt the airbox, fitted that to the vehicle. So that's at least something. I think I mentioned it previously, but I've taken apart ultimately three different airboxes to build one functional one. I'll put up some stills in the video just to show you some of the work that I did. I used some acoustic carpeting to sort out the flaps. So that's all taken care of. Hopefully I won't have any whistling noises when I'm using. I did put a little extra just so that it seals nicely. I had to strip those flaps top and bottom and rebuild those, so it took quite a while. It took me basically a whole day, but that's in place now. Motor, everything's in place, so we're good to go there, and hopefully everything is in good running condition. I used the newest motor and the newest casings to build this one, so hopefully everything works from the moment it's plugged in and the car is turned on. And then I started on the wiring. Now this is tricky. Let's just get the light on the camera going. So I cut a hole in the soundproofing and I just folded it in. I'll show you on the other side what it looks like. And then I fed through the initial bits of the wiring harness. But I ran into a snag, and I'll show you what I'm talking about now. So in the factory what they would do, one of two things. They would make up the loom for the engine side, feed the sort of main harness through, the complete harness, and then splice it in somewhere, make a join here, I think. Now I'm doing it the opposite way. I started at the back to work my way forward, and what I found is the holes for the harness, obviously, which was only meant to carry this harness and this grommet, are now, as I feed the harness through, some of the bigger plugs don't fit. So what I'm going to have to do is de-pin, feed through and re-pin in the engine bay, plug by plug, basically. So on the newer Velos, they have, or Velocities as we call them in South Africa, the newer City Golfs, that panel is much bigger. So what they can do there is feed the whole wiring harness through. This plate goes up against the firewall and then they just bolt it in. Now, we never planned to use this. What is this doing in here? We never planned to use a more modern City Golf harness. I mean, the fuse box as well is also slightly different. Well, it's actually very different. This is from a much newer, I think this was from a 2006 City Golf. I think it was a 1.4i. Anyway, I never planned to use this. I was going to try and salvage the old one. But the old one, the wiring is just so far gone and it's been hacked and spliced so many times that it's just not really salvageable. So we decided to go with a new harness, and this harness is complete. So let's have a look at the engine bay now. I'd love to know, this is my youngest. He likes shiny things, he's like a magpie. Oh yeah, and the other thing, I can't remember if I updated in the last video, but I had to buy a OEM set for the bonnet catch because the aftermarket one I bought was for a left-hand drive cabrio and it switched things around. So I have the hole there for the cable, but I wanted things to be as factory correct as possible. So I went and bought a new OEM one. They are different. Unfortunately, that one's like sort of a metal finish, and this one's still got this like anodized gold color. But anyway, at least it's correct. I still need to hook up the cabling, but I've got other things to do before I get there. Right, so there's the wiring harness that's come through. Obviously I've got that grommet that'll just fill that hole there. So this harness is complete in the sense that I'll start on this side, headlight, spotlight, the motor for the water bottle will go here, and that obviously runs the pump to spray the jets for the windscreen nozzle. But anyway, I would go headlight, spotlight, radiator, spotlight, headlight, battery, and then back into the, you know, there's a whole bunch of sensors and bits and pieces for the engine and thermostats and switches and things. But anyway, we'll go back into the firewall through there. So the reason I swung the car around is because the engine, the gearbox, everything is on this side of the garage. So it's just going to be easier once I've fitted everything here, the new 210 clutch kit, it's a complete clutch kit. Once that's put back onto the engine, where's the gearbox? I can put the gearbox back on, get that up on the crane, and drop it straight in. So there's a bit of prep work I need to do before we get there. Now I've decided with these hard lines, instead of trying to cut them to size and flare them, because I've been having such a hard time finding a tool that works. Obviously now we're in lockdown, so I can't even get new nuts and things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just loop these, tuck them in sort of behind the booster, and plug them in. I'll make them pretty later. I just want to get them in place so that everything is there and ready to go. That's interesting. I wonder what this is from. Huh. All sorts of things popping out of the car today. So anyway, yeah, I'll get those hard lines in place. I need to finish bolting this thing on. I've got new steel screws. I've actually bought a special drill bit to make the holes I need to put the bolts. There's two bolts. One is missing there, one is missing there. I've enlarged those holes, and I'll need to bolt those in place, so that'll be taken care of. And yeah, so that's going to get us a lot more complete with what we need to do there. Then once the engine and the gearbox is in place, then we can start radiator, battery, water bottle, airbox, carb. The exhaust manifold I need to slide in here, so that needs to be in place before I drop the engine and stuff in. So once the engine and gearbox are in place, it'll bolt there, there. It's got a cup that fits in here, and it'll fit there on the gearbox. So those are the four mountings. Then I can pull the exhaust up, put it in place, and bolt it on. All the studs and stuff are already in the engine. It's just a matter of getting everything into the, you know, got to hook up these drive shafts and the CV joints and all the rest of it. Linkages for the gearbox. But close, guys, close. I did a test fit of the bumper, and then I remembered why I don't like these aftermarket bumpers, because they are, you'll see there's a very distinct curve, very subtle actually, but it's there. It's not dead straight like the back is. But now with this curve and this straight bumper, you know, we can't risk fitting it like this because it's going to scratch the paintwork here. So what I need to do is, after lockdown, take this thing off, take all the rubber bits and pieces off, and get someone to just roll it, give it a light bend so we can fit it in here. But I want to take the car width so they can see the bend that they need to put in there. I've just put it in place here so it's not rolling around on the floor or tipping over when my kids are running around the garage. So what's going on there? So yeah, I think I did cover the modifications I had to do for the cabin light. So I've put a grommet in here. I've run the harness all the way through. There's a grommet there as well. So that's all taken care of. That can be spliced into the harness. The one thing I haven't shown you guys, I don't think even in the last video, is I've finished this part of the roof lining. I found my original skin. The original skin I've checked. I've got all the rods and cables and things. So that's all good to go. Oh boy. I'm a little concerned that I'm finding plugs. I think some plugs have come off this harness. I need to just gather them together after the video. Just make sure I know where they all need to go. That's a worry. But yeah, sorry, broke my train of thought there. So after lockdown, assuming I can get the engine and the gearbox, get the wiring connected, get the exhaust on, after lockdown, I can see I've got something here as well. Two things actually. I just need to remember where they... Can you hear the rats? So the one thing I think is in the car, this is an underpile, and I'll put a still photograph of what it looks like up. This is for the brake booster. This is for the factory alarm immobilizer. So I think my youngest has been playing in the car, and that's why this stuff is... He likes to collect things, like I said. So let's just drape that over there and put this here. So this underpile fits, and I think I need to use contact adhesive on the one side, so it'll fit up against the firewall, into the driver and passenger side footwell and over this tunnel. It's got a cutout for the gear lever and things. Obviously I need to make a plan for the gear lock and a new boot to accommodate that gear lock. But anyway, so that'll fit there, and then I've got a complete... This is a grey carpet. I've had to hose them both down, so the guy who had them before me, please forgive me how this thing is. It was laid out, and obviously when I move the car, everything has now just been dumped. I need to come and tidy things up. So it's there, it's complete from the front of the firewall all the way under the seat, and then it stops, I think, here by the seat. So I need to make a plan to get either made up. I need a new hardboard circle for the spare wheel, unless I do what I wanted to do and just have one solid piece and then glue the carpet there to match up everything here. So I wanted black. There's just no one who has black, so I took a dark anthracite grey. I think it'll be fine with the GTI material that I'm going to use, because this is also not completely black either, so this should be fine with that carpet. And obviously it'll match up with the... I want to leave the backing on the back seat. This is the backboard that fits. This is what you would see if you open the boot. Guys, obviously once the seats are redone, we'll just clean that up. But then at least that's all good to go. So I think once the wiring harness is in place, I really need to get... I've got a guy who's going to help me sort that handbrake out. I can finish the soundproofing. I can fit this so long, the underpile, then we can just make some foam inserts. I might use some of this stuff, same like I use for the roof lining, just make some foam inserts for the under the seats and for the passenger side at the rear here, along the top of the tunnel there, and I think a little bit goes sort of in front of the seat rails. So I'll use that leftover underpile there, just to get everything nice and level. Then the carpet can go in. I'm going to fit it loosely into the car, put the back seat back in, put the driver's seat back in, put the door cards back in, and off she goes in a trailer to the upholsterer to do the roof lining and to get everything sorted. So the boot side of things, obviously now there was a lot of things I needed to get before lockdown, but then we went into lockdown and everything closed. Car stuff at the moment is not considered an essential service, especially for a project vehicle like this. So I need to get some new wire, and I need to get about 2 or 3 meters of it, and I'll tell you why. Because I need to make... These are for the rear demister on the rear windshield. I've been debating whether or not to use it, but I've got it. So if that ever breaks, then the new ones may not come with the demister. But for now I've got it, so I need it to work. And then also I've got the rear wipers and the switch. This is the switch. If I open the boot, it'll switch on the light that goes here and the cabin light. And obviously when I close it, everything will fade out slowly. So this switch, I've got a new one. This is just a placeholder to see. I wanted to test the size of the screw I need to secure it. But I've got a newer switch, grommet and everything. So once I've got all the wiring sorted, I could actually put the rear window in. I'll need help because I need to do the cami spoiler and the rear window, plug everything up. this will all work. I mean, obviously I've got these sheaths that run inside the boot door. I just don't know how to secure them so that they don't rattle around. I need to read up and see how to do that. I need to get these standoffs. These things just stop the deck lid from sort of rattling while you're driving. And I need to adjust this. This needs to be moved up. I was trying to find new screws. You see what these look terrible. But Volkswagen doesn't sell just these screws. They don't even sell them with the brackets. These are new OEM brackets I bought as well. So I might have to go to a scrapyard and try to find a new one that's been smashed in the front to get those top. These guys, you see what they look like? Well worn. And then this here. Why is my light doing that? I don't think it likes the neon lights in the garage. So there's still quite a bit of work to do. Obviously I've got there's a water bottle that needs to fit here. I need to make up a bracket to hold it. This is for the pump. It'll plug in there and then it'll pump the water up to the rear nozzles. So I have all this stuff and I want it to work. If I had time, or if I had thought about it a little bit differently, what I would have done is gotten a newer, or either closed up these holes or gotten a newer tailgate, because the new cars, the new cities, have a grey sort of oblong shape here, and the wiper and everything is contained sort of here in the windscreen area, not in the deck lid. So the wiper sits here in the middle, and it's a lot neater. Then I'm going to have a wiper arm, but I mean, it is a old vehicle, so you can kind of get away with it. It just looks a little bit neater, and also spares becomes a lot easier. But there's nothing to stop me getting another deck lid and changing that out. For now, I'm not going to do that, but those could be future plans for the vehicle. So tomorrow, I've got some work to do on the quad bike. We need to just check the oil, top up the fuel, check the spark plugs, clean everything up. I need to clean the chain as well. I've been belting around the garden, so it's caked up with mud, so we need to clean that up and just do a little bit of general maintenance on this guy. I need to make a repair list when lockdown is over, so that we can there's like a few little niggling things that just bug me. So, for example, the reverse indicator light doesn't work. I think the tail lamp needs a new bulb. Small things, but things that I'll sort out after lockdown. Another thing that's really irritating me is that the tires, the valves on these old tires have perished. So all these wheels have a leak. So you could not ride it for like 3 weeks. But you come back and the thing's standing on its rims. So I wanted to take the wheels off, take those to the Super Quick or Tiger Wheel and Tire, get them to I want to refurbish these little rims because some of them are bent. So get those refurbished, spray them silver again, put new valves, put these tires should still be alright. They're old, but they should still be alright. But the valves are the important thing, because that's where it's losing a lot of air. So we slap those new valves in and we should be good to go. But yeah, the garage is an absolute shambles now with this move. So another reason why we switched, the car used to sit dead center, used to sit right here in the middle. Now she's over a little bit. So I want to try, once I've tidied this up, I want to try and see, I've got another vehicle, Project Palomino, which I'll do a video on later. But Project Palomino needs to come in here. Otherwise, we've still got the Cabrio, so it's a toss-up between Palomino or Project Garfield. Which one is going to come in here? I'm kind of leaning towards Palomino, and I'll show you why when you see the vehicle. She's a real special vehicle. I bought her for my dad, so I need to keep her safe. There's a lot of work on that vehicle as well. Geez, Project Palomino is going to be very interesting. But part of me is also saying the Cabrio with its soft top needs to be in a garage, not in the front section of the house under a carport. So what I might do tomorrow, once I've tidied all this up and I've got space for everything, I wanted to bring the Cabrio here into the garden, hose it down with the high pressure cleaner, this little couch I've got here, clean off the roof, give the car a good wash, good solid vacuum, get her nice and clean, and then put the Cabrio in here, so that when she's parked in here, I know that the roof is not going to get contaminated, because we spent all that money getting that roof replaced after that maniac stabbed a knife through it, and I don't want that new roof to get ruined. So we'll see what I decide. Palomino will definitely fit in here. It's a very small vehicle. It'll fit straight in here with lots of space. Garfield is a little bit wider, but she will still fit in here. Once I've sorted out all of this stuff here on the sides and made a space for her, she'll come in here. Oh, and you'll notice the spare engine is gone. Sold that. The tombstones are gone. Sold those. And then I've got these guys. So these guys, for the moment, I was going to sell them before lockdown, but again, no one can come and see them. You know, they're not worth a lot, so I was just going to flog them for like $500 or something. I might hose these off with the high pressure washer. See, they're a little bit dirty. Just clean them up, hose them down. These are from a Deco, I think. Leave them to air dry, and at least when the next person who comes to get them, at least we know they're clean. Another annoying thing with lockdown is I ordered a radio blank that'll go. I don't even know where that is at the moment. I think it's in the cupboard. But anyway, the dashboard center console. Oh no, it's over there. So the radio blank that normally sits here, the one that I ordered has 3 holes in it, the same as basically this. So I'm going to move these VDO gauges to be here in the dashboard at eye level. That'll make it a lot easier to read when I'm driving the vehicle. I'm going to put the radio, whichever head unit I decide to use, will go in here. So the head unit that was destined to go in there is this guy. Tape deck. Where did I get this tape deck from? This one. This is the one that's destined to go in there. This one came from the Cabrio. This is the other one I have, and I don't know where this, I can't remember where this came from. I hope I have the radio code for this. Oh, my mate sent it to me. Rajiv sent this to me, Copals. So this was given to me. This one I bought, I think this came out of my Polo. This one came out of the Cabrio. This one was a mate of mine found in his vehicle. They all still work. I've got the codes for this one and this one. And obviously the Cabrio's one. I've got the manual for it as well. This guy was an unknown. I've never tested it. I could snap it in the Cabrio and test it. I don't have a code for it though, so I'll be able to see if it switches on and goes to safe. This thing, you'll see it's the same face. It's just got a longer extension because the newer City Golfs came with the Skoda Fabia dashboard, which is a slightly different shape, but it's almost acting like a double din. It's like a din and a half actually. But yeah, I think a nice tape deck, and the reason why I want to use the Cabrio's tape deck is because it interfaces perfectly with my iPod adapter. So I don't really need to worry about discs or whatever. I'll just zap my little iPod in there, and we should be good to go. But yeah, she actually looks very nice turned around. It was nice to get her out in the sun as well. It desperately needs a clean. And the annoying thing I've noticed is this garage door is not sealing. The sponge has gotten hard and it's created a gap, so all the leaves and stuff are coming in. So I took the opportunity when the car was sort of out of the way just to clean up the garage a little bit, and then obviously I messed up again when I had to rush everything in before the rain came. So I do need to sort out the garage. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see. Maybe I get another vehicle in here, either Palomino or Garfield. We'll have to see what transpires. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm rambling now, so let me not bore you any longer. But thanks so much for watching, and yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been keeping you up to date. Some of the work I've been doing is just, it's not really that interesting. It's a pity I didn't film the airbox rebuild. I did take a lot of photos though, but the airbox rebuild is something that was quite interesting to do. I've never done it before, and that was a necessity project because you cannot get more of them unless you find a complete one from a wreck. But I thought I have all the pieces. Let's see what I can do. So put it back together. Like I say, it took me probably a whole day. I had to wait for glue and all sorts of stuff to dry. But yeah, that's in. Motor, everything's tucked in there. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling again. Thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for the support. I see I've got 3 new subscribers, which is great. And thanks for your support, guys. I'll do a shout out to the new subscribers going forward, just to show my appreciation. Cheers for now. Hi guys, thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more and be kept up to date, please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to my channel. With your help, we can get this project complete and move